Good evening. Good evening. I am sitting up, couldn't sleep, wanting to learn about YouTube and YouTube videos. When I was in college, I remember when YouTube first came out, and I missed the wave. I missed the YouTube wave, so I'm trying to get into the YouTube wave now. So I'm going to talk about living in Atlanta, being a nurse, working for 3 years as a nurse. So all of my young ladies that are pursuing nursing, it's a great career. Nursing changed my life. Prior to nursing, I was a makeup artist. I was an esthetician. I basically was a freelance person, and did a lot of things in that area. So nursing really changed my life. But I will tell you that with nursing, there comes a lot of responsibility, a lot of things that you thought are great aren't that great. So I'm just going to talk about some of those things. For instance, student loan, which we all know, everyone goes to college, everyone has, debt from going to school. Be very careful with the institution that you decide to go to nursing school. I would not recommend a private institution. I would always say go to a state school, do your ASN. I did my BSN after going to a community college. And so I would say go to somewhere where you can afford it, where you don't have to take out a bunch of student loans, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have to pay back $60,000 to $70,000 for a nursing degree. I just personally don't feel like it's worth that. But again, I'm not saying that it's not a good idea, but I would recommend that you go somewhere that you can afford. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you shadow. Make sure that you volunteer. Make sure that you experience different hospitals, different facilities before you decide where you want to work. I recommend ICU, med-surg, either one. Get in a hospital, get working, get started, get you a year experience. She wasn't really a mentor, but an older colleague of mine, something she would always tell me was, you can do anything for 1 year. So you can do anything for 1 year, get it under your belt, get your experience up, and move on. So number two, so shadow, volunteer, get your feet wet, see what's out there before you decide on the type of facility that you want to work at. Number three, realize that as a nurse, your job is to serve people. And, with social media, a lot of nursing positions are projected as being very glamorous. Travel nursing seems very glamorous. I have not traveled as a travel nurse. I have worked kind of as a travel nurse in my local area, but travel nursing is something that I want to get into in the next couple months, actually. I plan on traveling, so. But I was going to say, the point I was making was, nursing is not glamorous. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, nursing is hard. It's hard, it's dirty, it's stinky. There's nothing glamorous about being a nurse. Yes, there are hospitals that, have really low patient ratios, and there's great communication among the staff, but most places aren't like that. Okay, I'm going to tell you that. So I would say, realize what your job is. Your job is to take care of sick people. Okay, your job is to take people that are not all the way mentally, sometimes they might not be mentally stable. Your job is to take care of people at a very sensitive time in their life, a very vulnerable time. Your time is to take care of their families. Some of the best and worst patients that you can have they're that way because of their family members. So be understand what your role is as a nurse. Okay. Let's talk about money. So that was number 3. Understand your role and know that nursing isn't glamorous. Number 4, let's talk about the dollars. So I live in Atlanta, and I have been a nurse for about 3 years. It'll be 3 years in January, actually. This is October 1st, today, 2018. So my first year as a nurse, I was making $25 an hour is what I made. Now, prior to that, I was a nursing tech. I was making like $15.75 or something like that. So that was a huge increase for me to go from 15 to 25. I also work nights. I recommend, if you are a new nurse and you want to get your bread up and save some money and do whatever you need to do for you and your family, I would recommend working nights. Working nights, that shift differential makes a hell of a difference when you are just starting out as a nurse. So the first year as a nurse, I did med surg. Basically, I worked on a floor that was a dumping floor. I worked at a level 1 trauma center in the city of Atlanta. And one reason why I chose that facility was because they had tuition reimbursement. I'm sorry, not tuition reimbursement. They had loan repayment, guys, loan repayment. So I had to submit my student loans to the facility, and they came up with a monthly amount that I would get a month, and it was about $295 a month on top of my salary. So that was really helpful in that first year. It took me a couple months to get it because, of course, anytime you're getting anything, no one wants to give it to you. So you have to be persistent. You have to have your paperwork in order and diligent in doing that. So that was a huge help for me for that first year. So the first year, I was at $25 an hour. So I was making about $62,000 a year. Which is cool. I was living at home, because I was just trying to get myself situated and, do what I need to do. And then I was going to, of course, move out and everything. So the second year, I actually transitioned from med-surg to the OR. I did the Period 101 program. I transferred within my hospital system, so that made it a little bit easier. I also got me a second job doing something outside of the hospital, working at a hydration station, which is a kind of a buzz thing right now. I don't know if you guys, depending on where you are, but basically we do IV hydration. It was an easy job. It was outside of the hospital. It wasn't 12-hour shifts. So, and I also got tips. I love tips. I used to be a server and a waitress and all that stuff. So tips make me happy. Okay. So, I did that. So I worked doing in the Period program, which was like 6 months. So I'm working in the OR, main OR. The OR, I know a lot of people think the OR is glamorous. It's not. It's more technical than many people think. You have to deal with a lot of parts, interdisciplinary type of thing. You have to deal with anesthesia, the surgeon. I work at a teaching facility, so there are residents. They have surgical assist, first assist, your surgical tech, which prior to going to the OR, I didn't even know about the role of a surgical tech and what they do. They are imperative, first of all, to my job as a circulating nurse, and I have to have a relationship with them in order to make my room run okay. So, so the OR, so, orthopedic surgeries, broken bones, broken femurs, ORIFs, neurosurgeries, craniotomies, which is brain bleeds, subdural hematomas, spine surgery, general surgery, gunshot wounds, open belly cases, wounds. I mean, you name it, we get everything. There is a same day surgery center in my facility. So some of the like OB/GYN stuff, we don't really do. But sometimes, they get brought over to the main OR. So the OR is cool. I like the OR. I don't think that I want to work there for the rest of my nursing career, but it's cool. So second year nursing, like I said, working in the OR, had my second job. When I did my taxes that second year, I made about 71,000. I was making about 71. So that second job really helped, supplement my income because again, I went from med-surg nights to the OR days. So I needed something to, help with that. So, yeah, I am still in the OR right now. I did have some transitional things happen. I left my facility, but ended up coming back because I didn't like where I went. I got a sign-on bonus at this facility that I have yet to, yeah. So, I would just say to all my students, all my nursing, people pursuing nursing, those are just some of the experiences. And I'm doing this video because, again, I feel as though I can only speak for my area, my demographic is, being in Atlanta and, still being a new nurse. I mean, 3 years is not, there's nurses that have been nurses for 30 years and they're still working. So 30 to 3, yeah. So I'm still a newbie, still trying to figure it out. I'm loving the blossoming of all these nurse social media gurus. Shout out to Nurse Mo. Shout out to the Nurse Box. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, and I love what they're doing. I don't necessarily know if that is the avenue that I want to go down, but I definitely love helping people. And if I can share my experience so that you can take that to figure out or, learn anything from that, that's really what we're here for. I mean, we love to help people anyway as nurses. So things that are coming up, I'm going to maybe do another video soon. Again, like I said, I was a makeup artist prior to becoming a nurse, and I, of course, love beauty. I don't have on any makeup right now, so yeah, but I don't care. And maybe I'll do some, I kind of want to talk about like beauty secrets, things that I do that help me get out the door faster, So yeah, we'll see what happens. This is my first ever YouTube video, and I hope y'all like it. So you can follow me on Instagram at Nurse Charisma. That is Nurse, Nurse, Charisma, Charisma. I have to do that because sometimes I forget how to spell. But yes, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys later. And you can also email me if you have any questions about the OR, about nursing in Atlanta. Hit me up. It's Simone5star@gmail. Simone, SamoneFivestar@gmail. Talk to y'all soon. Peace. Good night.